Meron na bang computer shop sa inyong barangay at napapadalas ba doon ang inyong mga anak? Bakit kaya? Para mag-research ng assignment sa eskwela o nahuhumaling na ito sa computer games? Para sa mga magulang, panahon na para malaman natin ang masamang epekto ng kinahuhumalingan ngayon ng mga kabataan na computer games. Narito ang isa pang Filon Ngayon Special Report. 11 anyos na batang pinatay, ang nakikitang motibo ay ang pag-hack umano sa account ng suspect sa online game.
Nagtamo ng mahigit 40 saksak sa iba't ibang bahagi ng katawan ng biktima.
Ang pagkahumaling sa sikat na online game ang naging mitya ng pagpatay ng isang 16 na taong gulang sa kanyang 11 anyos na kalaro.
Halimbawa, sa bahay, magulo, maingay, mga away. So pag naglalaro sila at nakikita nila mga putukan, patayan, dun sila sa online gaming, nagkakaroon ng expression. Yung kaguluhan ng isip, nakikita nila sa screen at minsan dun sila nakaka-relate. Pag lagi silang naglalaro ng ganito, darating yung araw na hindi na sila sensitive, hindi na sila affected pag meron silang nakikitang kapwa-tao na nasasaktan.
Astig nga daw po ngayon ang mga nauusong laro para sa mga kabataan at mga feeling bata. Kung tawagin po ay online games. Pero dahil nga po sa ito'y may mga sangkap na mga mararahas o violenteng eksena, sa ibang mga bansa ngayon, gumagawa sila ng review o kaya po naman ay mahigpit na regulasyon para pangalagaan po naman ang kapakanan ng mga manlalaro. Eh ang tanong, sa ating bansa, may ganun ba?
Dapat nag-uumpisa yan sa Kongreso para magkakaroon ng batas that would rate and regulate yung online games na dapat hindi siya 2.5 yung presyo na hindi accessible sa lahat ng bata regardless of age.
Marami na ang na-addict sa paglalaro ng mga online games. Kaya naman, may paalala ang mga eksperto. Agapan ang mga batang nahuhumaling sa online games. Ibandila mo, Jasmine Romero.
Hindi makakailan na napakarami ng mga kabataan ang nahuhumaling sa larong Defense of the Ancients o Dota. Sa Salawag, Dasmariñas, Cavite, maraming kabataan napapabayaan ng pag-aaral at nasasangkot sa gulo dahil sa larong ito. Katunayan, 2 na ang namatay. Kaya pinagbabawal na ang paglalaro ng Dota sa lahat ng internet shops sa Salawag.
Nag-aasaran, nagkakapikunan, and then dahil sa may mga pustahan pa ito ay lalong tumitindi yung tension. Pag nilalaro nila dito ay nagmumura sila. May mga bata na natutulog sa loob ng rooms.
Nakintuwa ni Andrea na ipinagbawal na ang Dota. Hanggang ngayon kasi ay pinagluluksapan nila ang pagkamatay ng kuya niyang si Ranzel na nasaksak noong 1 taon dahil sa away sa Dota.
Papasalamat po kasi dahil binawal na po yung Dota dito para po wala na pong mamatay ng mga tao.
Sa eksperto, may ilang mga dahilan kung bakit nalululon ang isang minor de edad sa online gaming at ang isa dyan ay dahil sa pamilya.
The family life is unpleasant. Kung hindi na nila nakikita yung value nila sa buhay, kung hindi nila kilala sarili nila, lack of self-worth, pagpapahalaga sa sarili, ayaw nila mag-aral, lagi silang pinapagalitan lang sa bahay, they get out of the house, they find something else. They find something where they can have power, and that is in games.
Tulad ng isang bisyo, nakaka-addict din ang paglalaro ng Dota o anumang online games, lalo na kung ito ay nilalaro ng 4 na oras pataas, araw-araw.
There are signs of online addiction. Hindi na makapag-function sa normal life, pag kinakausap, hindi na makatingin sa mata, loss of apathy with life, yung wala na ibang interest, that's what they want to do. And for teenagers, madali yan bumabaksak ba ang grades? Lagi bang may temper? Nagtatantrum? I mean, yung parang madaling matrigger yung kanilang galit. Madaling ma-frustrate.
Payo ni Alignay, kung nakita ng nalululong sa online gaming ang anak, pigilan na ito. Huwag itong sisisihin, unawain, bigyan ng iba pang mapaglilibangan tulad ng sports o arts. Hanapin ang kanyang interes at tulungan siyang i-develop ito at kumonsulta na sa doktor. Jasmine Romero, ABS-CBN News.
Ito, pre, pambuhat.
Alam mo naman siguro, kakain ba kayo? Para kayong mga patay gulong sa ginawa nyo, pare. Kahit yan sila ako pala, tropa na rin lahat nila. Hindi na kami marunong magpaalala, pero marunong kami.
Nag-ainitin na sa mali. Ang pwede,
Hindi, pare, may nasa baka sabihin, lasing lang ako, kaya ako gano'n. Uy, bukas ulit. Bukas ulit, magpunta ko nito. Ano lang, ano.
baliktad, hindi yan. Hindi yan. Buti na nakahanap ka. Kasi ito ay nakakasama.
Alam na nila kung sino sila, pare. Hindi naman nila alam kung hindi alam. Alam na nila kung sino yun. Tatanong ka lang ito. Ay, siyempre din yung minum ng publicity ko talaga. Oo, pre. Sige, ako nga. Inunong namin ito eh. Tapang pare ah. Hindi ka mo tapang, pre. Ang maamin lang ako. Utangin ninyo, bakit eh? Ang Untitled Chapter. Pare, marunong naman kayo mag-try sa alay, tabi nyo. Sinabi ko, pre, di ko alam kung sino. Sinabi nyo? Sinabi ko, bakit dyan? Ano? Mga dalawang mo eh, sinabi ko lang. Ano yun? Ano yun? Utangin na mo. Uy, sasagot ka? Sumagot ka! Sumagot ka? Bakit? Utangin na mo, tinutulak mo ako? Tinutulak mo ako? Sinabi nyo ako, puta. Hindi mo kayo inaawat lang. Ano ba ginawa kayo? Dali! Uy! Sinabi nyo ako?
For over 10 years, I was addicted to playing video games. This addiction affected many areas of my life, including being a major influence in my decision to drop out of high school at the age of 15. Eventually, my parents got on my case to get a job, so I got one. I say got because I pretended to have a job for months. Every morning at 7 a.m., my dad would drop me off at the restaurant where I was a prep cook. After he drove off, I'd walk across the street and catch the bus back home, sneaking in through my window and going to sleep. I had been up all night playing video games. The truth is, I didn't want to do these things. I just did. The addiction controlled the behavior. 3 years ago, I decided to make a change. I had just moved back home to Calgary, Canada from living on Vancouver Island, and I couldn't get over this feeling of immense disappointment in myself. I moved to Vancouver Island inspired to take on new challenges, only to be left playing video games 16 hours a day for 5 months straight. I felt like a failure, and unfortunately, this was a feeling I knew too well. So I did what anybody would do. I Googled it, and the answers I found were incredibly frustrating. They were suggestions like study more, when the whole reason I was playing video games was to avoid studying, or to hang out with friends when all my friends played video games. Not knowing what else to do, I decided to quit cold turkey. And after a few months, I learned key lessons that led to major breakthroughs in my recovery. And knowing others were struggling with this addiction, I decided to share my story. I wrote a blog post online titled How to Quit Playing Video Games Forever. And the response? Overwhelming. But is video game addiction really that big of a problem? I mean, we're talking about video games here. Sure, I had my own personal experience with it, but did this problem scale? Or was I just one of the unlucky ones? Current research suggests that 97% of youth play video games, which equates to 64 million kids in the US alone between the ages of 2 and 17, with the fastest growing age group kids aged 2 to 5. In the UK, 10% more kids aged 2 to 5 know how to operate a smartphone application than know how to tie their own shoes. Unfortunately, the debate surrounding video games focuses on whether you should play or not, when that's like saying should you drink or not. If you can do it in moderation, that's fine. But what if you can't? What if right now you're stuck at home playing video games and you want to stop and don't know how? Imagine for a second how this makes you feel. Do you feel a sense of pain? What about feelings of guilt? Shame? Do you feel confident, anxious, depressed? Now, this wouldn't be a good TEDx talk unless I shared the lessons I learned and how you can use them to help yourself or someone you know overcome this addiction. It's not about the games, it's about why you play the games. If you can understand why you play games, you can move on from them. There are 4 main reasons why you play games. First, they are a temporary escape. After a tough breakup at the age of 18, Playing games online gave me the perfect way of not having to deal with the situation. I could simply get absorbed in games and play for hours and hours. Second, games are social. Staying home on a Friday night doesn't seem so bad when you're at home playing games with your friends online. Not only that, but games offer a clean slate on the social ladder. Being bullied when I was younger didn't exactly leave me feeling very confident in my social standing. I felt misunderstood, unaccepted, and unsure how to fix it, even though I wanted to. Playing games online gave me this opportunity. I could be who I wanted to be. Nobody knew my history, and I was judged based on my ability to play the game and not on my current social standing. Third, games are a challenge. They give you a sense of purpose, a mission, a goal to work towards. This is an achievement paradigm. Achievements multiply the opportunities to experience success. Finally, you see constant measurable growth. This is a feedback loop. You get to see progress. When you're at school, you struggle to improve your social standing. But online, you're able to see rewards for the efforts you put in. Consider how it feels when you're finally able to see progress in something. Consider how it feels when you're able to see that the goal you set out for is achievable. Combine these 4 areas and you have a very addicting process. So where do we go from here? How do we fix this problem? Video game addiction is a habit developed over time by becoming your go-to activity whenever you're bored. So parents, it starts with you. I'm sorry to say, but the iPad is not the new babysitter. They need interaction, not entertainment. Next, gamers play for very specific reasons. Identify their motivations and help them find these in other activities. Help them with their social skills. The truth is, they struggle to make friends. Lastly, don't punish them for their desire to play these games. Come from a place of compassion and encouragement, not judgment. We're so caught up in asking whether this is a real addiction or not that we've lost sight of what truly matters. How do we help these people stop playing video games? But there is another way. The truth is, this is about the idea of feeling trapped in something you want to move on from. It's about the freedom to live your life the way that you want and on your own terms. And sometimes all you need is permission. Permission to move on from something you want to move on from. Permission to stop playing video games. So if you're out there, whether you're in the audience or you're watching at home, I want you to understand one thing. You have permission. Thank you.
Airborne diseases, natural disasters, and other catastrophes. It is really great to see other people helping those who are in need. But what about you? You may be suffering something inside, maybe from an addiction. If it lies under game addiction, I completely understand how you feel because I was in that situation as well. I was a game addict. I was born and raised in an environment where it was ghetto. My friends and I didn't make a lot of wise decisions, and one of my unwise decisions would be placing games on top of academics. Now, this of course affected many of my decisions and also affected my grades as well. When time passed by, there was also times when I would fail on the test as well. Whenever tests, quizzes, and presentations came by, I would cram them in the last minute, and I wouldn't put a lot of effort into it. I really hated it. Whenever I got home, because my parents were Korean, it was really hard to explain why I got an F on the test. Therefore, I would sort of cheat on the test. I am sorry, teachers. I didn't really cheat a lot on your classes, but I did cheat in most of your classes. So basically, most of my life, I have been addicted to games, and I really want to overcome it. I remember staring at the ceiling, hoping that one day I would overcome this addiction that bounded my mind in chains, but only to stare at that stupid monitor and play that stupid game again. Days passed, weeks passed, months passed, and eventually 4 years passed by, and I didn't do anything to cure that addiction with treatment. I eventually came to Japan because of my parents' occupation. I attended to a school called a Christian Academy in Japan, which is abbreviated to CAJ. Now, in this brand new environment, it is completely different to the environment I was in America. Because these students were studious. Like, these kids wanted to academically excel. These kids were aiming for Columbia, UCLA, UCSD. Oh my goodness, I was surprised. Because back then, when I was in America, we'd be making those paper airplanes from the test sheets, and the teachers, of course, were pissed, but it was how my life was back in America. And being in this new environment where every kid wanted to academically excel made me want to academically excel as well. I wanted to do great because deep inside, I knew that games shouldn't be my main passion, something that I should do constantly when I grow up. Because I know this, because game addiction has drastically decreased my attention span. I was sleep deprived because I had to spend all night playing video games just to fulfill my addiction. Worst of all, my family relationship began to crumble because of my addiction to games. Because I was always told to be responsible, to be honest, but I couldn't. So what did I do? It was simple. I remember having myself staring at that screen and literally going to that Google, how to stop video game addiction. The results I found were really disappointing. I was really angry at the results because the results that I found and that I read were things such as limit yourself. Like, really? I've been addicted to games for over 7 years and you want me to limit myself with games? Like, that doesn't work because that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't fit me. I cannot limit myself because even though if I try, I'll end up playing extra hours of video games or games in general. And another disappointing solution that I came across was to talk with the guidance counselor. I don't want to talk about my problems to the guidance counselor because I don't want to share my weakness to him because I had immense pride. I don't want anyone to know my weakness. I don't want anyone to destroy my pride. My pride was as strong and high as a mountain, and I don't want anyone to destroy it. Therefore, I just decided not to tell my weakness to my guidance counselor. But eventually, I did come across to this addiction, and I was able to overcome this addiction. And there are 4 main reasons why we play games. These reasons are the causes that leads to our addiction. Number 1 is for temporary escape. After a long day of stress or possibly agony or a family relationship problem or a relationship outside of family, you do not want to repeat the same mistakes and repeat the same thing that had happened a couple hours ago. Therefore, games are perfect for that. In this century where people inject heroin or light up those 420 across the block, now that's how people do it. But in cases like me, I don't like to, smoke weed. Therefore, computer games would be a perfect opportunity for me to escape the reality I faced a couple hours ago. They were excellent. Number 2 was for social interaction. Especially for me, when I first set foot to Japan, I did not know how to speak the foreign language. I just remember hi and arigato. That's it. So therefore, that's not enough to make a new friend. Not enough to have a conversation with a new friend. Especially the neighborhood that I was actually living in. Therefore, I was often depressed because I am a social person. I love to talk to other people. But because I couldn't talk to other people in Japan, because of my inability to speak Japanese, I just couldn't make any new friends. Therefore, online gaming gave me a perfect opportunity to interact with other people, especially in American servers, where people could speak the same language as I do and who has the same interest in gaming as I do as well. Number 3 is for control. Control. I love control. I want the power. I want the whole world to revolve in my own hands. I want to own an empire, millions of legions going out there under my command. I really want that to happen some days in my life. I mean, of course, maybe it wouldn't happen, but that's what I want to do. Therefore, gaming is perfect for that. Games such as Grand Theft Auto, because literally the whole world revolves in your own hands. You can do whatever you want, and the consequences lies after that. You can do anything what you want. Number 4 is for growth. After seeing and playing hours and hours of gaming, you can see the process, you see progress as well of how you have been doing so well through gaming in your life. Because you can compare yourself from the very beginning when you actually played the game and later on in your life, currently. You could tell the difference between a beginner and, of course, an expert in gaming, just through the appearance, luck, or skill. Therefore, growth is a perfect opportunity to receive respect, especially found in games such as League of Legends or Minecraft, where you are able to level up your characters. But aside from all of this, how do I overcome this addiction? Well, first I would like to say, admit to yourself that you are actually addicted to games. Especially for me, this is really hard to do because, once again, I do have a pride, and I have immense pride. And showing that I have a weakness, I don't like to show my weakness at all. It's not my type. I just do not like to spread others and hopefully have someone to improve. Have myself to improve through other suggestions. I want to come up with my own. Therefore, by admitting that I was actually addicted to games, it completely, literally 90% of my burdens were lifted and were just carried away because my heart was then open for more improvements, more ideas to overcome the addiction to games. Number 2 would be to stop watching gaming videos, especially for me because I like to watch. Because I enjoy playing League of Legends, Twitch would be a great opportunity for me to stream online while I'm at school, whenever I am not playing the game itself. When I'm trying to stop gaming addiction, just stop watching gaming videos as well as playing the games itself, because these two ideas both are under the concept of entertainment, of games itself. Therefore, if you're trying to just stop playing video games, stop watching gaming videos as well, if you do. Third, I would like to explain about the search. Search is the most important part, or the most important core that allows you to play the games. For an example, if it was like PlayStation, Wii, or an Xbox that you have at home, it would be the cord that connects between the outlet and to the console itself. Have someone to hide that cord. By hiding that cord, you would not be able to play the games, of course, because there's no electricity running in between it. Have someone to hide it. And yes, you do feel withdrawal symptoms because you yourself want to play it, but you do not have it. Therefore, if someone just takes it away and you're not able to play it, although you feel withdrawal symptoms, it's just temporary. And eventually you will get used to it and you feel numb to it as well. But what about computers? You cannot take out the cord because you have works and studies and essays on it. Therefore, what should you do if you're addicted to computer games? Well, I would like to explain that not just only uninstall games, but put passcodes. To me, I hate parental controls because they are so annoying. They always ask for permission, but they were worth it. Especially on my computer, on my laptop, not because of porn, but because of the games that I was always watching and always playing. This actually helped me to stop being addicted to video games by setting up passcodes, because it always restricted me to play games. Finally, most importantly, the one and only thing that actually enabled my ability to overcome the game addiction was through willingness. Willingness to overcome the addiction to game. This did not only come by itself, but what also followed was endurance as well as motivation. One of my most memorable moments of when I actually really when I was willing to overcome this addiction to games was when I had a couple of math problems. I went up to my friend one day because I was not really smart at math. Yeah, I know, a Korean guy who's not good at math. I'm sorry. But then when I went up to my friend, I gave him those 8 questions that I had. He was not Asian at all, but he came up to me and he just had a look at that face. Bruh, you're Asian. So I didn't know how to respond. So I'm like, I'm sorry, okay, all right, fine, bro, all right, fine, I'll just go back. So therefore, from then on, I always just my perseverance to overcome this game addiction has never diminished. My willingness to overcome this addiction. I really want to overcome this addiction. And therefore, the willingness to overcome this addiction lasted for a couple of years. And although it lasted for a couple of years, it was worth it. Because finally I was able to overcome it. But you might be wondering, am I the only one addicted to games? Is this a problem in this world? Well, according to Time, at least 90% of the youth ages from 8 to 18 actually plays video games. I was really surprised. And according to Douglas Gentile, who was from the Iowa State University, mentions that at least 3 million of the youth students, are actually addicted to games. 3 million students. And for computer games, this is just for video games itself, but for computer games, Riot, who is the company called Riot, who is known for creating the game called League of Legends, proudly proclaims that they have at least 27 million active players daily, on a daily basis, every day. So yes, this is a problem. And this is a problem that we face today. Identify that motivation of why we play the games and replace it with a new habit. And when you replace it with that new habit, then there's a higher chance that you are able to overcome that addiction to the games. That's one of the tips I would like to explain to you guys. But let me tell you something. For the people who are trying to overcome this addiction to games, I just want to say that it is not easy. No, it's not easy at all. The amount of pain and stress, and it was a huge challenge. It was crazy. At times I just wanted to give up and just play my games because this addiction, this cycle kept on going on. But I just couldn't. But eventually I did. This is not an easy task it's not a 1 month thing that you could break. Sometimes it takes years. For me, it took over 7 years. Finally, I'm able to break free from this addiction. Although it is painful, Lance Armstrong once said, pain is temporary. It may last for a minute, an hour, or a day, or even a year, but eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever. You can make that change. You can make that change right now. Don't be like me, who always set it off a couple of next days, because eventually it will just keep on going. It will never stop. Start today and just quit video game addiction if you are actually addicted to games. Start today.